Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a 5 best and 5 worst, one of my OG series that I have here on my channel, and we are going to be chatting all about new makeup products because I've been talking a lot about new makeup products and I love doing these every once in a while to give you guys a little roundup of what my final thoughts are on a lot of these new products, whether I really like them and they end in the 5 best category or I really was not a big fan and they end up landing in my 5 worst category. I got 10 products to talk about here. Let's get right into it. So the first product that I want to talk about is the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush. This is definitely not a new formula. It's been around for a while, but it is a new shade, which is the shade Hope that I recently tried out in my Cosmetics versus Rare Beauty video that I recently did. And since that video, I've been wearing this pretty much every single day. So even though this isn't like a brand new formula, the reason why I wanted to mention it is because this new color really made me fall back in love with the Rare Beauty blushes. And I swear, I don't know if I'm making things up, but I really feel like they changed the formulation of this because I have the liquid blushes from when they were first released. And I always found them to be really finicky to work with. And that's how I always describe them, as a really great long wearing liquid blush, but was a finicky formula because every time you would apply it, it would dry down so quickly that it would almost create a shadow of the color. And so you'd have to work it into the skin really quickly. You had to use also a very small amount of product. Otherwise it would over apply. So I don't really know if it's just like this new batch of colors that they just released, but I find them to be so different from the original formula in the best way possible because I don't find that they're finicky to work with at all. I actually find that they're really quick and easy to use, which is just such a pleasure. And this color, the Hope color, is so stunning for day to day. I don't typically go for pink blushes like this, but this like dusty pinky color I find is just so flattering and not too like Barbie pink. And I think a lot of people would really enjoy this type of color. So I'm gonna put it on my cheeks even though I'm already wearing some blush, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I always put 2 dots on my cheek and then I blend it out with a sponge or a brush. So I'm just gonna take this brush over here and just blend it out. So you see how easily that blended out? And what I really do like a lot about the Rare Beauty blushes is how well they wear throughout the day. They are very long wearing. They do definitely set down on the face and they lock down in place. You do not need to set it down with a powder for it to actually last throughout the day, which is something that I really appreciate about this formula. So I really wanted to mention this color in particular again because I feel like a lot of people would really like this type of shade, and I kind of wanted to just give you guys my change of heart with this formula. Another one of my favorite new products is another one from the Cosmetics and Rare Beauty video that I did, and that is the Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow palette in Da Vinci. Basically, since trying out this palette as well as the lighter version of the palette from the Masterpiece collection, I have not been able to stop wearing it. Over the last like couple of months, even the last year, I have definitely strayed away quite a bit from powder eyeshadow just because I haven't been very inspired by it. And this palette, as well as the lighter version of it, even though they're so basic, honestly, like they're neutral palettes, they're really simple, they have completely re-inspired me to apply powder eyeshadow every single day. And I've been using either this one or the other one on my eyes like day to day and actually putting in that extra effort in the morning to do like a full-on eyeshadow look because these eyeshadows are, number one, so easy to work with and so easy to blend. I can do eyeshadow looks in my sleep with this because they just blend themselves. And I just love the fact that both palettes really have everything that you need all in one place. And they're all just beautiful neutral colors that are super flattering. The mattes are exactly what you want in a matte. They're really buttery and beautiful. And like I said, super easy to blend. And the metallics really pop and I love that. So these are great little palettes and I definitely recommend them, especially for day to day. So another blush, which has been definitely a part of my day-to-day routine, has been the Glowish blushes. So these are the Cheeky Vegan Blush Powders, and this one is in the shade 02 Caring Coral. And kind of similar to powder eyeshadows, I've also kind of strayed away from powder blushes as well, and recently I've started to get back into them a little bit. And just like these powder eyeshadows, this formula really made me fall in love with powder blushes again because it's exactly what I want from a powder blush. All of the Glowish powders that I've used, the setting powder, the bronzer, and the blush, all have this really nice soft sheen to them. So they don't apply flat to the face, they do have a really nice glow. And so I find that it just gives a really flattering look to the cheeks. And it's a glow without there being any shimmer to it, which I find is sometimes a little bit more difficult to find in a powder blush. And it's the reason why I typically go for a cream blush, because I'm able to get that really nice natural looking glow without that shimmer. So this gives me the glow without the shimmer, but in a powder form. And then besides that, it's also just a really great formula. It's not powdery. It doesn't apply too much or too little. And this particular color is really stunning. I know it looks really intense in the pan. It's like a really, really bright coral, but it has this really beautiful marbling effect to it. So there's a little bit of orange and a little bit of pink in here. And when swirled together, it just creates like this really, really fun, bright corally pink. Let me show you what it looks like on my cheeks. I'm gonna try my best to dull out what I have currently so that you can see what this blush looks like, hopefully. Okay, I still have a little bit of blush there, but you guys will get the idea. I also really love that I feel like I can't really over apply this because it applies very softly. It's not super powdery and crazy pigmented that I have to be careful to avoid clown cheeks, which is nice. So it's very easy to wear. And the brightness of the color just really livens up the cheeks so nicely. And the glow that it has is very, very subtle, but it's there. And it just gives a really fresh appearance to the cheeks. The last two products in the best category are both lip products. And the first lip product is this NARS gloss in the shade Nympho. This is a recommendation for not just the formula, but for this specific shade because it is a beautiful nude lip gloss and it's a tone of nude that is kind of difficult to find in a gloss form. It's so funny because the original NARS lip glosses are so different than a formula like this. They used to be so sticky, whereas this formula, which is called the Brilliance formula, is the opposite of that. It is so buttery and smooth and it feels like nothing on the lips, and that's exactly what I look for in a gloss. So the actual texture is beautiful. It's very, very, very comfortable. If you do not like a sticky lip gloss, this is not sticky at all. I'm wearing it on my lips already, but I'm gonna reapply. So this is the shade Nympho, and it is the perfect cool toned nude that is not too pigmented and not too sheer. It's kind of hard to find a nude lip gloss in particular that gives you the perfect amount of pigment that you can easily wear it on its own without it looking patchy, or you can layer it on top of a lipstick, but still see a little bit of the lipstick through. With this formula, I am definitely able to get both types of looks. Right now, I'm wearing just this gloss on my lips, and it gave me such a nice even layer of color. It's not patchy at all, and like I said, the tone of this is so pretty. I love like the hint of coolness to it, which kind of just makes it a little bit different. It's not a color that you see all the time. And then on top of all of that, it has really great shine to it as well. So just overall, this is just a really wonderful nude lip gloss that I think would complement a lot of skin tones, which is mainly why I wanted to mention it. The last product that I have here for my best category is another lip product that I feel like is pretty underrated, and it's from the drugstore. These are the Burt's Bees Gloss and Glow Lip Balms, and they are fantastic. If you're looking for a dupe for the M Cosmetics Lip Luminizers, which is one of my favorite formulas, this definitely comes very, very close. Almost like a hybrid between a lipstick and a lip gloss. It's very, very, very pigmented, but it also has a lot of shine and it's very comfortable as well. So let me show you what it looks like. This is the color 940 Wine Wednesday. So here's what it looks like. As you can see, it gives some pretty good pigment, but just enough where it still stays wearable, but it still obviously also pops as well. It has gorgeous, gorgeous shine, and they also smell so fruity and delicious, so that is also a plus. For every day, these are so great to throw on because they do give quite a bit of impact, but they're so easy to wear, and I just feel like this is such an underrated formula, and like I said, very similar to that M Cosmetics Lip Luminizer, so I had to mention it because I have not been able to stop wearing it. Okay, so we have made it through my 5 favorite new releases, so now it's time to go through my 5 least favorite new releases. So the first product that I have to mention makes me very, very sad because this was something that I had very high hopes for, and I was really, really hoping that it wouldn't land in this category, and it is the new Kosas 10-second eyeshadows. You guys may or may not know that I have had quite the love affair with the Kosas 10-second eyeshadow, specifically in the shade Globe. One of my favorite liquid eyeshadows I've ever tried. It's just the perfect color. It has such amazing shimmer to it. It makes your eyes sparkle. It is so gorgeous. Hostess decided to reformulate their 10-second eyeshadows, and then Globe would be replaced by another shade called Blaze. My hopes were high. I thought maybe, just maybe, it would be even better than the original Globe, and it turns out that's just not the case. Unfortunately, I'm just not a fan of the reformulated version of the 10-second eyeshadows. I feel like what made Globe so special, which was the dimensional qualities that it had, and all of the shimmer, are just completely lost with the new formulation. The new formulation of the liquid eyeshadows are pretty, and there's not really anything wrong with them. I actually think that they're nice liquid eyeshadows, but they are simply metallic liquid eyeshadows, and they simply just don't have the same sparkle, literally, that the original 10-second eyeshadow in Globe has. What's disappointing is I just feel like I have so many other metallic liquid eyeshadows in my collection that look exactly like this, that I don't feel like these are so special anymore, which is upsetting. So to put it simply, I'm just disappointed in the reformulation. I wish it was closer or truer to the original formula, and it's just not. And so I had to say RIP to Globe, and I'm really, really holding on to that one tube that I have left. Next on the list is this powder from Saie. This is the Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder. I was super excited to try this out because I really thought that this had a lot going for it. I really liked the description of it. It's supposed to be a lightweight powder that gives your skin a little bit of a glow. It's supposed to be really great for dry skin, and the reviews for this product are really, really good. And so I was really surprised to try this and really strongly dislike it. I tried it so many times just hoping for a different result, again, because the reviews on the Sephora website were so high, but I just kept getting the same result, which was really dry looking skin every time I would apply this. So to kind of just summarize this product, it is a loose setting powder, and it does also have quite a bit of shimmer in it. So the shimmer isn't super evident once you actually buff it onto the skin, but it is definitely there. That shimmer is supposed to give the skin a little bit of a glow. I just don't really love shimmers in my powder. If a powder is supposed to be glowy, I'd rather it just have a sheen to it rather than the shimmer, because I still find even if shimmer is really, really finely milled, and even if it barely shows up on the skin, it's still there, and I just don't like having a shimmery face. So the shimmer was definitely a downside, but it's not what completely turned me off to the product. What turned me off is just the way that it made my skin look. I find it just looked really heavy on my skin. It sat very obviously on it as well. And I just found that it made my skin look dry and kind of cakey. Again, very surprising just considering the way that this product was described. And I also really love Saie as a brand, but unfortunately this just didn't work for me. So this powder just made it on the no list. Another powder that really didn't work for me is a new blush from Physicians Formula. This is the Butter Blush in the shade Mauve Mattes. I really love the butter line from Physicians Formula. The powders are typically really buttery and very smooth and typically look really nice and flattering on the cheeks. Unfortunately, this new line of blushes just really is not consistent with the typical butter formula that I'm used to. I actually found this to be quite a powdery formula, which is normally the opposite of what the butter powders are all about. And because of that slight powderiness that it has, I don't find that it really applies very smoothly at all, which is another unfortunate quality to this blush. More of a personal preference thing, I actually just really am not a fan of this type of color. When you swirl all of these little flowers and the base color together, it creates this kind of like dusty, almost greigey, purpley color, which isn't my most favorite shade for a blush. This is what it looks like swatched. And so for all of those reasons, this is just not my favorite release from the Butter line. Another blush product that I wanted to mention, I'm mentioning for a bit of a different reason, because this product actually performs just fine. I was even wearing it on my cheeks at the beginning of the video before I tried to like blank out my my blush color, and that is the new blush palette from NARS, and it is called the Afterglow Cheek Palette. Hear me out. I actually like the formula of these blushes, but the reason why it's in the worst category for me is simply because NARS comes out with these blush palettes multiple times a year, and I feel like they always look the exact same. I have a couple other NARS blush palettes already in my collection, and I just feel like this doesn't really add anything different to my NARS blush collection, and it kind of sucks because I really do like their blush palettes. I like the formula, but I just wish that they would come out with just more unique palettes that are a little bit different than all of their past palettes. So with that said, if you're somebody who has never tried a NARS blush palette and you like the way this looks, I would actually recommend it and you should totally pick it up. But if you already have like a couple NARS blush palettes in your collection, I wouldn't pick this up because I feel like it's not really much different from most of the other palettes that they've released. I just really wish NARS would go out of the box a little bit and do something a little bit different than what they've done a million times over. You know, the very last product in the disappointing category, or the worst category, is the new NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I feel like I'm the only person who did not like this foundation, but oh my God, this did not work for me at all. I did an entire review on this product, so you can see my whole experience in that video, but just to kind of summarize it, I just feel like this did not work for me in the slightest. But just to kind of summarize it, this foundation just worked terribly on my skin. This broke up horribly on me. It looked so dry and so cakey by the end of the day. And I have continued to try and use it since that video, and I still experience the same thing. It's a little bit frustrating because it actually looks so beautiful when you first apply this product. But then as the hours go by, it just starts to go downhill. It starts to separate. It starts to look heavy and cakey, and it just accentuates all of my dryness, and that is why this really in the end did not work for me at all. Obviously, this is my personal experience, especially with base products. Take that with a grain of salt because base products are so particular. In the end, this is just not for me. All right, guys, that is it. Those are my 5 favorite and 5 least favorite new releases. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts on all the products that I mentioned today, and hit the thumbs up button if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.